My name is Vivekanandan. Basically, I'm a researcher. I did my master's in marine biology, a doctoral degree in fisheries. So naturally, marine fisheries became my career. I'm at present based in Chennai. Uh, a brief about my career is that I joined as a scientist in Agricultural Research Service of Indian Council of Agricultural Research. And under the ICAR, I was with the Central Marine Fisheries Research Institute, which is a premier institution for marine fisheries research in India for the last 75 years. Incidentally, the CMFRA is celebrating the 75th year now. I had a long career in research and also in development of marine fisheries in different capacities, and also worked in different laboratories in marine fisheries research, marine ecosystems. In fact, theoretically, a marine fish can travel to every part of the globe. It can swim through because the oceans have no barrier. In fact, I too followed the fish to travel and also to learn and keep myself abreast of the information about the marine science. In fact, I used to fish as an agent to know about marine ecosystem. I think that's how I learned about the marine ecosystem. During my long career, I addressed some emerging issues, particularly on climate change, its impact on marine fisheries as well as marine ecosystems. Now continuing my pursuit uninterruptedly through expert consultations to research organizations and guidance to research projects, as well as to young scientists in the field of marine science. So my presentation will be today on marine ecosystems, climate change, and pollution. So why we should care about the oceans, which I should explain when I say that I'm interested in marine science. You all will be knowing that the ocean covers 70% of Earth's surface area. People used to say why we should call it this planet as a Earth. It is actually an ocean because 70% is constituted by the oceans. I will say about half a dozen important uses. I would say uses means these are some other things which cannot be, without that the human beings cannot live. About half a dozen of them. The first most important is that the air we breathe. The oceans produce over half of the world's oxygen, and also the oceans absorbs 50 times more carbon dioxide than our atmosphere. So you can imagine the importance. The phytoplankton, which is a microorganism in the ocean, its biomass is only about 1 to 2% of the total global plant carbon. You can roughly say 1% of the global plantation biomass. But these organisms are important because they fix between 30 and 50 billion metric tons of carbon annually, which is about 40% of the global total. Number two is the climate regulation role played by the oceans. Oceans transport heat from the equator to the poles because there is continuous water movement on all the directions. And by transporting heat, they regulate our climate as well as the weather patterns. The seawater evaporates and then it accumulates in the atmosphere, and that falls as rain, as our monsoon. The third important role is transportation, which is a great service by the oceans to human beings. About 70% of the global trade involves some form of marine transportation, the cargo, the oil transportation, and whatever you call it. 70% is through marine transportation because it is relatively cheaper than the air transportation. And a bulk can be transported at a given time. Then we know about the food service provided by the oceans. The ocean provides more than just seafood like the fishes, the shrimps, the bivalves, etc. And but at the same time, the ingredients from the sea are found in many seafoods. Even the peanut butter has got ingredient from sea organisms, and soya milk also, at least for binding purpose or for adding protein or some nutrients. A small portion will be there from an unexpected angle for you. Then important thing is the bioprospecting avenues from the sea, like production of medicine. There are many organisms from which the medicines can be extracted, like the sponges. There are so many, the sea stars, there are so many organisms. And even you know about the cod liver oil, shark liver oil, which are also can be medicines or can be nutrition supplements, can be extracted from marine organisms. And there are also, even recently in the COVID vaccines, also in some of the vaccines, there is a small component from shark liver. So, and there are many medicines to fight cancer, Alzheimer's disease, heart disease, and whatnot. And then the last one I would like to say is the economic benefits that is derived from the oceans. The total economic benefits derived from the ocean services, like what I narrated. There are many more, which I am not going in detail. These services produces 42 trillion US dollars annually in goods and services, and also in ocean dependent businesses. So this forms 2/3 of global ecosystem services to human beings. I think you can imagine the importance of the oceans and the services provided by the coastal and marine ecosystems. Of course, tourism, there are many more in addition to what I listed. Coming to the marine ecosystems have got a large number of critical habitats. For example, you have the open ocean, which is very large in volume and also in area. You have the coastal areas, the area where the sea meets the land. And you have a large network of estuaries, rivers joining the coastal seawater. You have the mangrove forest, which is very critical habitat. It's a habitat because it's a breeding place for many fishes and many organisms. It's a growing place for many organisms. And it also protects the coastal areas from water inundation, from cyclones. Even there are stories about how mangroves protected at the time of tsunami, the Great Asian Tsunami in 2004. And then we have the coral reefs, which are very important organisms. Again, they are very critical habitats for fishes and many marine organisms. They also protect the coastal areas. And then we have seagrass meadows in the sea. So they are also critical habitats. And we have the coastal areas, which are actually turtle nesting beaches, like in Odisha. Huge, about 600,000 turtles nest almost every year. And so this is on the beach. And also we use beach for our holidaying, for our picnics. So there are critical habitats which are also giving services to human beings. And at the same time, the oceans and coastal areas are rich abode for very rich biodiversity. We have the charismatic species whales, the dolphins, the dugong, the turtles. Then, of course, you have the sea snakes, etc. We have the sea birds, and we have nearly in India, we have about 2,000 species of marine fishes. We have amazing organisms like the sea stars, jellyfishes, sea cucumber. Many of them are facing very great risk due to many reasons. I'll just try to give you the reasons why I'm saying that they are at risk. The oceans support a very coastal as well as the coastal areas support a very rich biodiversity. So there is an estimate that globally there is a 25% decline in marine life populations in the last 50 years. By 25% decline, I don't mean that the sea, 25% of the sea life has disappeared. It is not like that. There's a decline in the population at different levels. Some maybe would have declined by about, some species might have declined by 50%, some by 20%. Correspondingly, there is a 25% decline in the value of the ecosystem services provided in the last 50 years. I said so many $1 trillion in the form of ecosystem services the oceans provide. That is also correspondingly reducing. So what are I would say there are two key drivers why this is happening. One is that there's a dense human population in the coastal areas, human population which depends on the marine resources. About 40% of global human population lives within 100 kilometers from the seashore. So naturally, whether you are very close to the shore or off from the shore, as I said, we are dependent on the oceans in some way or the other. So those who are living closer to the coast, they actually release a lot of effluents into the sea, domestic sewage, agricultural sewage, etc., plastics. So the more there is density of human population, we tend to pollute the coastal areas. And now we find that the pollution extends to the deeper areas as well. Even at 2,000-meter depth of ocean, we are finding nanoparticles of plastics, macroplastics as well. So this is the situation because it is the dense human population and the use and lifestyle, our lifestyle has got are big drivers, which is impacting negatively the ocean systems. The second one is we give a lot of emphasis on economic development, like construction of harbors, construction of industries and factories near the coastal areas. Definitely India has to advance economically, there's no doubt about it. So unless we follow a proper mitigation measure to avoid pollution and so many other ill effects, I think we will be landing the oceans in deep trouble and also landing ourselves into deep trouble. We have plans for initiating blue economy. The ministry is preparing blue economy plan, which is actually blue economy means improving the economy from the oceans. Like agriculture green, the ocean is blue. So improving the economy from oceans is called the blue economy. So we try to improve the blue economy by having more industrial development, fisheries development, and oil exploration, extraction of minerals from the ocean floor, and also improving the transportation, tourism, etc. So unless we think of proper measures and have proper plans in place, again, this is going to involve more and more negative effect on the ocean systems. So we need to have a very clear understanding of the ecosystems, of the marine ecosystems, as well as proper planning, how we are going to achieve the blue economy. Definitely there is a scope for blue economy, but we need to have proper planning towards that.